Welcome back to Say More Words. I am your hostess with the mostest, Tamika Taylor, and our song of the day is Seasons of Love from Rent for multiple reasons. One, today we're talking about seasons of life. Kind of goes along with resiliency, what we talked about in our last podcast session, but also because I'm in the process of booking tickets to Broadway for December to see Josh Groban before he is off of Broadway and in Sweeney Todd. And so I'm in a Broadway mood. So Seasons of Love from Rent. And, the original cast is great, but I love the movie cast better when I'm listening to it on iTunes. You can listen to it whatever way you want. And Broadway. So Seasons. Seasons are a fun topic and also a not fun topic to talk about. When we were talking about resiliency in the last podcast, you're talking about how quick can you pivot, right? Resiliency is how can you pivot out of the things that are happening in your life. So when we're talking about that, though, we have to look at the seasons of life. And not just fall, winter, spring, summer, all of those things, which we just all had in 1 week in Texas. It was like 100 degrees and then it was fall for a minute. And now we woke up this morning and it was 37 degrees out. We don't know how to act right now. Okay. I don't know how to act. Don't talk to me about the cold. I'm mad about it. And I know what you're thinking. Tamika, weren't you mad about the heat? Yes. I don't want to talk about it though. I would rather be hot than cold. Anywho, we go through seasons in life and we aren't properly taught how to function through those seasons. We have seasons where we are on the hustle more, when we're on the grind more, as people say, where we're working harder, where it seems like the days never end and they're going by so quickly and you can't get everything done. Then we also have seasons where they're quiet, where you're supposed to go kind of introspective and you're supposed to calm down and you're supposed to go slow and you're supposed to be reflective. Sometimes those seasons go along with the seasons, how the weather, Mother Nature seasons go, but most often times they don't. And there's no telling what sparks a new season. It's just how you feel. So let me start by saying one of the best things that you can do, if you've not picked up on that yet, is to become more personally aware. Understand your emotions, understand your reactions, understand how you show up in the world, how you affect others, how others affect you, what time looks like for you. You have to be personally aware in order to make any changes in your life. Okay, step one, you have to take personal responsibility. But why being personally aware is important is because you can then see when a new transition is happening in your life. Oftentimes, I find that new transitions in my life happen after I get super uncomfortable. Let me explain that. As a human, right? As a standard human, we like when things are predictable. We like when we know what's going to happen tomorrow. We like when we know what our schedule is going to look like. We like when, we love our habits and we love our routine. I love habits and routines. But when my habits and routines get messed up, or there's something on my heart that won't go away, and I keep thinking and processing and wondering, I get into a space of uncomfortability. Is that a word? I don't even know. Where I just get so uncomfortable that the only option is to pivot and change or stay the same, stay in that uncomfortable spot, or even go back to where I was before. Now, I am not your standard go back person. I am not going to go 2 steps forward to go back 1. I am going to continue moving forward. The trick is that staying in the uncomfortable space and asking, what is this uncomfortable season supposed to be teaching me? Right? Because before we can transition to a new season, we go through a period of uncomfortable experiences. So while I'm sitting in the uncomfortable, I like to ask myself over and over and over again, why is this happening? What am I supposed to be learning from this? And I don't ask, why is this happening in the dramatic, the world is going to end way. I ask it in the, what am I supposed to be learning way? In that season transition of uncomfortability, or uncomfortable experiences. I don't even know if uncomfortability is a word. Somebody's going to have to tell me after this is over. When I'm in that space and I've learned what I'm supposed to learn, I have one or two options. I gear up or I slow down. Both types of seasons are important. Now, you've heard me talk about it before, but I'm going to talk about it again, where last October, I was uncomfortable. I had done a lot of personal growth over the summer, and I had just been in a very calm season where I had gone introspective. I wasn't building my business as much as I was building myself because working on myself at that season was more important. And so I was calm. But come October, I had hit my uncomfortable point where I was done with the calm, not completely, but I was in a space where I had learned as much as I needed to learn at that point, and I was getting restless. And I wanted to make huge changes in my business, but I didn't know what that looked like. And I knew that like my business was good. It just needed to be revamped it needed some oomph. And I sat down last October with my husband and I said, "Look, I need to start traveling." And he goes, "What are you going to do?" I'm like, "I don't know yet. I don't know what offer I'm traveling with, but I just know that I need to start traveling. And if I'm going to start traveling, that changes the way that our household looks. And I need you to be on board." And he said, "Okay." And as soon as he said, "Okay," the next season of my life showed up. The next season of my life has been for the last year of growth inside of my business and myself, but fast growth, experiences. I've been traveling all over the world. I've been launching new products. I have hired a team of people to make it so that I can function on the daily. I have a much busier schedule and I'm out much more and I'm in less, and I don't travel for fun as much anymore. I travel more for work, which is actually fun for me, but like vacation traveling and work traveling are two very different things. I started to explode. In my season of uncomfortable though, right before last October, it was because my calm was done and the busy was coming. You see, I fully believe that we have a calling that's put onto our hearts, and those callings are uncomfortable, oftentimes because we have no idea how we're supposed to accomplish them. All of a sudden, one day you've just figured out that you're supposed to do something, and you don't know how to fulfill that calling. And oftentimes, I think our loudest callings come after our calmest moments. You see, the calm season and the busy season are both important. And it's always been in my calm where I've become more introspective and I've focused on myself more and I've done a lot of self work. My calm seasons always come before my busy season. Your calling shows up during the calm, when you're quiet, when you're not moving. And it leads to the uncomfortable season because that uncomfortable season is that uncertainty. You don't know what you're supposed to be doing, you don't know how you're going to do it. And then that leads to your busy. That leads to the expansion on your calling, on who you're meant to be or what you're meant to do. And that calling is different. And when I say calling, it's different for all aspects of life. I've had people who have built very successful businesses with me and then say, "You know what, in this calm, I discovered that the next calling on my life is to be more present at home." Great. Let's do that. Let's focus on that. Let's make your life that. It has been a calling. I've seen people in the calm find a calling for either starting new relationships, ending new relationships, starting a business, ending a business, starting a career, ending a career. It's in the calm where you can start to be in that space of, what am I supposed to be doing? Where am I supposed to be going? What's not working? What do I need to fix? And then the uncomfortable is fixing that, right? Or finding the path, or listen to the calling, even though you don't understand why it's happening. Okay. When I sat down with my husband and I said, "Look, I have to travel and I have to have the ability to not be inside of our home," that was uncomfortable because up until that point, I was the one who picked up the kids. I was the one who did it, did pick up and drop off and made sure dinner was ready and things like that. That was my place inside of our home. And in order to do that, we had to hire to be able to do that. We had to hire help for me so that I could go, so that his schedule wouldn't change. And that's an uncomfortable thing to say, like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. I know why I'm doing it. Like, I know I need to travel to help people, but I don't know what that's going to look like or where it's going. But here's my plan. And it's stepping out in faith that this crazy busy season is important. So I say this because there's a lot of people who are in the uncomfortable season right now where they're trying to make really big decisions. They're living in a space of like, I can either take 2 steps back or move 2 steps forward. Or I could follow this path or I could follow this one, right? They're at a crossroads. And oftentimes I find that in that uncomfortable crossroad season, the greatest blessings come on the other side of that. And sometimes those greatest blessings are the busy seasons. I will tell you too, when I talk about seasons with people, they're like, I'm like, our life ebbs and flows. It's secular. Like my business is, your business is, our lives are, women are, like men are every day and women are every month. Like we are secular people. We function off of cycles. But just because fall of last year was amazing doesn't make fall of this year amazing. And just because the summer of 2006 was the greatest summer that ever existed doesn't mean that every summer has to be bad. And in the same sense, just because one winter was bad doesn't mean that this winter is going to be bad as well. There are people who hold on to the nostalgia of experiences and seasons, like actual weather seasons, and they hold on to that, and then they create that secular cycle inside of their life. And it does not have to be that way. You can have both a calm season and a busy season in the same month if you want to. It's knowing, though. Step one is knowing yourself, knowing what you're capable of, knowing what your life looks like, and knowing the signs of when you're in a calm season or when you're in a busy season. Another reason why this is really good too is that when you can recognize the signs of you're calm and you're busy, you are less likely to be mean to you during those seasons. Okay? You have got to know more about yourself and have more personal awareness, because that allows you to be gentle and give yourself grace. Because there's people who lose their minds when they're calm instead of focusing on, like, what should I be learning during this space? Do I need to be introspective? What do I need to be doing? And then there's people who lose their shit during the busy season because they feel like they're failing, or they feel like they're forgetting something, or they feel like they're all over the place. And all of those things could potentially be true, but none of those things make you wrong. Not one of those things make you a bad person. It's all about personal awareness and seeing, like, where do I need to stop? Where do I need to go? What do I need to focus on? What needs to be fixed? In every season, there's something for you to learn, something for you to work through, something for you to fix. Like, people are in the unknown seasons right now, or they're in a harder time. And a lot of people I've been talking to recently are talking about failure and what that looks like and what that feels like. And if I can do anything in your life, I would love to reframe what failure means to you. Failure comes in all of our seasons, the calm, the busy, the unknown. It happens because you are human. But when failures happen for me, the one question I ask always is, what am I supposed to be learning? Because most people fail and then go 2 steps back, 3 steps back, 10 steps back, because failure is embarrassing and you're not supposed to do it. Failure is hard. Failure is a learning lesson. Failure is the foundation you can use to catapult yourself to the next level. You have to fail in the level that you're in now in order to experience the next level, because the next level and the new version of you has to learn that lesson so you know how to handle whatever is coming next. You never know what beautiful things are on the other side of the lessons you're learning inside of your failure now. The next level you also needs you to experience these things so that you can be more resilient and you can pivot a lot easier. And when this problem arises, you can fix it and move on as opposed to sitting in it. I hate when people are like, well, I failed at that. That's terrible. And then most times when people fail, they say terrible, horrible, mean things to themselves. How different would your life look if you looked at the failure for what it is, as opposed to you being bad or wrong for experiencing it? What would that be like for you? So one of the things I want you to work on, if you are in a hard season right now and you're experiencing some failures or some letdowns or some really hard negative emotions, just instead of making you wrong, look at the situation and ask, what should I be learning here? It's very simple. Ask it out loud. What should I be learning here? Because it allows your brain to kind of like pick up and become logical as opposed to emotional, but it allows you to see it for the situation and not for your emotions. Okay? When you can take your emotions out of it, it completely changes the way that you look at the situation. So, what should I be learning from this? And you should ask that in every season. The good, the bad, the ugly, the fast, the slow, all of it. What should I be learning in this space? What is this slowdown teaching me? What have I been missing? What parts of my life do I need to change? What parts of my life are really good right now and I want it to be like this forever? Forever and ever and ever. Slow down and pay attention to your seasons. Pay attention to yourself. Be aware of what's going on. And as you are working, because it's the end of October in 2023 right now when I'm recording this. And so we have a couple more months and then the new year starts. So what if what you're experiencing right now is happening so that your next months, weeks, days, hours are so much better than what they are right now? Could you get behind that as opposed to hating life because it's happening? I don't know. Think about it. But whatever season you're in, calm, fast, slow, growth, introspective, at home, out in the world, whatever season you're in, give yourself grace. Love the season, right? Give gratitude to the season that you're experiencing. Figure out what you're supposed to be learning here and use that to catapult the rest of your life. No matter what season you're in, you are worthy of love, gratitude, beautiful, wonderful experiences. And I don't want you to forget that. You are worthy. You are enough. And I'm so very proud of you. I hope you have a great rest of your week. I'll see you next week.